Don't know what's going on. Um, Feeling angry most of last night and into today. Just kind of pissed off at the world and pissed off at these paths we take. Apparently the world got to such a nasty state that some people have to just go and sacrifice themselves, sacrifice everything that made them up in this reality of 3D, and to discover that it's filled with density and low programming and low self-esteem and low self-worth, and basically designed to take everything from us, just make us feel awful and not worthy and kind of disgusting. How whatever this control is, or the power or the darkness that's at the root of it, how did they get into such a disgusting state that all they can do is harm and hurt and pull everybody down into their frigging hole so that they feel better about themselves, and all these technologies and all these programmings and insidious little things that are built into everything that's in this world to pull us down. I got to a pretty good positive yesterday. Lots of beautiful insights. And I started to feel good, started to feel possibility again, started to feel other things, and then come crashing down. And it's not me. It's not me. Like, this is so frustrating to just walk in the world, and as soon as you get light, somebody comes and squashes it. And I can't point to any one event, but sure, there's a lot of people that are triggered right now. It's crazy to watch. I had to unfriend a bunch of people on Facebook. One woman was talking about unconditional love as the root of all of our discontent, and religion taught it to us so that we'd ignore when other people are attacking us. And I just, like, that is so contrary to everything I've ever learned or taught or felt. And she was blaming the world. And then she was on a massive tear about how nobody should go against her or whatever. And she's trying to be light, but at the same time, there's so much inversion in it. And who do you believe? Who do you understand? And I don't blame anybody for it, but I just can't listen to it anymore. We all have these little wounds inside of us where darkness plays through, and our traumas and our guilts and our shame and other things. And it just feels like you can hardly even walk, especially with light workers nowadays, without somebody getting triggered and wanting to, like, just beat you to death verbally is what it feels like. And I understand that it's there and it's real, and maybe it's teaching me, but I'm so fucking tired of being taught and learning lessons and participating with people that are not in their integrity. It's like dog eat dog some days. And it makes me sad. And there's so many people walking around just in a pissed off puddle. And I see it. And I allow it. I'm not trying to fight it or whatever. But people just don't know what to do. And I don't know what to do either. All I know is that I'm trying to be my best in every moment. I'm feeling smashed almost every day now. Like, how do you be good and turn the other cheek and be positive and all this kind of stuff? And I'm not saying, like, boundary cross, kind of turn the other cheek, but just letting it pass water off a duck's back when people vomit their frustrations out. And then I'm trying to be what I determine as a good person and not vomit it back, not cause more pain, not cause more hurt. But it's okay to be angry, like fucking angry, like fucking this world is so twisted right now. And it's no projection of the inner reality that I have. I am driving a world that's full of unconditional love and connection and depth with people. And all the people that are lost and aren't sure, that terrifies them. So they just want to smash everything. And I don't know what to do about that. And I'm not that I want to fix it or stop it or spank them or whatever. I'm feeling stuck here in trying to resolve all this stuff. And then flip side, I'm getting this massive push to let go of everything. Relationships, friendships. I've been having so many people show up in my life that are old past triggers or trauma, and I dealt with them beautifully. A friend of mine, Tom, I just coming out of Walmart, and a guy I hadn't talked to that was part of somebody that was a con man and really negative and hurt me a lot. He got in between us, and this man, Tom, just was standing there. I walked out of the Walmart self-checkout, and I looked over, and something caught out of the corner of my eye, and I knew I had to look back, but I had to look at my phone first. And then I looked back, and I knew exactly who it was, and he was kind of sitting there, kind of waiting for me to just walk away in some huff or something. And really, we didn't part on negative terms, but it was just the energy was so bad. So we talked, and we shared, and what have you been doing, and what's been going on, and it was beautiful. It cleared up a bunch of negative energy that came between us because of someone else. And at the end I said, he still wasn't quite sure, and I just said, hey, love you, man. And I heard him pause for a second, like it hit him like a ton of bricks. I was just stepping away as I was doing it so I could hear him behind, and he said, love you too, in this kind of questionable way. That's the gold that I'm seeing in a lot of interaction right now. Bumping into old girlfriends and just, hey, how are you, or whatever, and just letting the energy go, even though it was really dark and full of trauma in the way that we departed. That person is somebody I loved and wanted to proceed with, and we moved into a phase of sexual connection that she said yes to, but the next day she was not okay with. And it just smashed the whole thing. And it was all of a sudden, you shouldn't have done that, and this wasn't okay or whatever. But at the time it was like all in and playful and fun. But their traumas come up. So to just forgive that and move onward. But it was a dark thing inside of me, that loving someone and moving forward, then all of a sudden was not okay, and changed mind afterwards and other stuff. And I know she felt guilty about it afterwards because a whole bunch of other stuff did it. But I don't hate her. I don't whatever, but it just inserted this wound. And I guess I'm okay with it now, but I don't want that ever to happen again in the world. So that I won't go into those situations. We'll ensure consent. I don't know how it'll handle next time. Moving out of relationships, some of my relationships that I've been in right now, I thought were on very clear terms with really cool agreements that were about talking about what was showing up, our uncomfortables and other things. And it came out recently that was not the truth underneath, even though it was agreed to. The wound was still there, and it comes out and it attacks in times when uncertainty or discomfort happens. And it felt really awful to me. It felt scary as hell that somebody would say they're one thing but not be, and then harbor it, and then it festers, and it's the whole reason for the agreement. So now I'm like questioning agreements, questioning all this stuff. All I know is I don't connect in a 3D way anymore, and I can't be standing in those energies because it's just like a minefield. You never know which step you're going to take, and then things are going to explode. So breathing and transiting and giving distance in a loving way, so that I can see what's mine and what's theirs. And it's not pretty, it's not fun, it's not joyous, it's not playful and whatever. It's full of looking in your deepest, darkest shit. And I'm not scared to look at my deepest, darkest shit, but then having to acknowledge when you're self-worthy enough to deserve better. And then sometimes that means arm's length for a while, or or whatever to get your space back. And I'm having to do that, and it feels like shit, like losing your best friend kind of person, because a monster emerged in the middle of it, and then you wonder how much attachment was there and how much other stuff was there that wasn't discussed and wasn't shared. And is that fair to you? Is that like giving your energy and love and then feeling betrayed? That's all parts of the energy of right now, and maybe you're feeling it too. And the only reason I talk about it, not to blame the world or whatever, but just choosing me by allowing myself to be angry, to be betrayed, to be upset, to be frustrated, to be whatever I am right now, and just lay in a pool of, sometimes it's a pool of vomit that you're not okay with, and you're really questioning why you came to this reality and waded through all this bullshit of people not being accountable and self-responsible and taking responsibility for their shit, and doing it the first 3 times sometimes. And why do we let people back into our lives over and over and over again that choose to hurt us? It's kind of insane. But I allowed it. I chose. Was it me? I don't know. So I'm sitting in a little bit of a bubble of density that I don't know what the purpose of is, and I'm looking for the light in it. But right now it's choosing me, and it's choosing to be okay that I feel like shitty or dense or sad or want to cry right now. Feeling alone. It's okay. It's part of the process. And if you're feeling the same, I encourage you to cry and feel it, and just be vulnerable with yourself and admit that it's there and it's real, and you don't hide it and say it's ugly or whatever. But I fucking deserve my dreams to come true. I deserve to not to hang on for dear life, but just to jump into the flow and live without expectations and attachment for a little while, and just see what's possible. See my unlimited possibilities. See what I was scared to maybe let in. So it's okay to feel density. There's bubbles of it. It's okay to expect better. I really, really wonder sometimes why we came to this place at this time to go through this density and live through all this shit and have all these lessons with other people without any real reward until after it's all done. Oh, we're gonna step through the bubble and it's gonna be a miracle or whatever. Well, I feel good for a day, and then I just feel like shit again. It's another level. It's another level. I'm just reading Effie. Sending love to you, dear friend. Just believe no condition is permanent. All these makes us strong and more. Instead, hugs. It's gonna be okay. Feel love from Kenya. Thank you, Effie. Yeah, I know it's gonna be okay. But it's just, I've been doing this for 10 years of really hard awakening, and the last 2.5 has been intense as hell. Just running out of steam. Having to learn all these lessons and stand in my power and other things, and I'm just simply exhausted and angry that things don't seem to improve sometimes. They just keep being reflections of the same, and new levels of stuff to look at. And maybe by sharing this, it's not meant to make you feel sad for me or whatever. It's just to say that if you're feeling the same, it's happening all over the place. Just love yourself and give yourself a big hug and let the tears flow. And I know it's getting better. I can feel it, but shit, sometimes it's just denser and denser and denser. So I choose to let go of everything and surrender into what's before me, and see where the flow takes me from this day forward. Letting go of all and seeing what other beautiful things can show up. Thank you for listening. I love you. Sorry for the density. I usually try to be a little more positive, but can't all be positive in this journey. So, love you. See you soon. And sometimes through density is where our biggest awakening comes. Guide through it, smash it open, break it open, let the light shine in, and then you can be free. That's what I'm choosing to do here right now. I am free, moving on and up in love. Thank you.